In a previous video I showed how I rig the C22 boom to help step the mast, and now I'm going to show you how it actually works. I already have the boom rigged as shown in that video, except for the end. So here I am connecting the gooseneck fitting on the end of the boom into the hinge tab with a bimini pin. The main sheet's already attached to the stem fitting. The baby stays are already attached to the lifeline stanchions, and the forestay is already attached to the top of the boom end fitting as well. Here I'm just checking to make sure that all the shrouds are in a position ready to be tightened up as the mast raises. Take the main sheet end back with me to the cockpit. Double check to make sure that the backstay, boom topping lift line are clear, not fouled on anything. And we're ready to go. So I can just start pulling leisurely on the end of the line, as you can see here with one hand. I often use the other hand to just kind of help center the mast a little bit more as it goes up, and as a precaution. Once the mast gets up about halfway, you should be able to see the upper shrouds begin to come tight, and these hold the mast centered, and the baby stays on the boom are really only needed to hold the boom centered at that point. I'm just watching here to make sure that the backstay and my boom topping lift line don't get tangled up in the mast crutch. And as you can see, the whole assembly just rotates right up fairly easily. Once the boom comes down on the push pit, I can just give it one last little push, and the mast rotates over center and is held in place by the upper shrouds. Then I can just grab the nearest forward lower shroud and pin it into place using a bimini pin similar to the rest of my other attachments. I'm pulling down on this forward lower shroud a little bit while I do this, just to make sure that the boom doesn't rock backwards and fall back. It would be stopped by the main sheet, which I have cleated off up at the stem fitting, so it would only go back a couple of feet, but I don't want it rocking around regardless. With one of the forward lower shrouds attached, it's an easy matter of just making sure that the other one is not fouled in any way and pinning it in the same fashion. The nice thing about having the quick release levers on the forward lower shrouds as well as the forestay is it keeps my rig in tune at all times. I check it every once in a while after a few steppings and unsteppings just to make sure that it hasn't loosened up at all, but generally after I set it up, the mast is in tune, ready to go. Now I can just unpin the boom, pull it back, disconnect the main sheet and the baby stays, and the boom's ready to put up on to the mast as well. Here I'm disconnecting the forestay from the end of the boom where it was attached with its quick release lever. I can set the boom aside. And pin the forestay to the stem fitting through the quick release lever. And there you have it, in just about 4.5 minutes to step the mast, make all the attachments. The mast is in tune, ready to go. For more information about this project, or to find more practical, affordable, or just plain cool do-it-yourself projects, visit stingysailor.com. the #1 Google website for DIY sailboat restoration improvement without throwing your budget overboard.